Everybody, welcome to another review with Shaky Camera Guy. Okay, let's not do that. With yours truly, R. Adrianus, novelist. We're going to be doing reviews of a novel, coincidentally. I hope I know what I'm talking about because I write this stuff and I studied this stuff, so hopefully I can give you guys an adequate appraisal of what we're going to be reviewing. Um, yeah, I was really excited when I was reading this book. Yes, you might have noticed that earlier today I've posted a video of me searching for something to review. Well, it turns out that the book that okay, this is some weird time traveling crap because it's like I was reading it at that time, but I'm done with it now, so we'll just say that I'm done with it. So the book that I was reading, damn it, I can't, no! The book that I read was Stephen King's Full Dark, No Stars, and yeah, I finished it already, so we can review that. Yay! But just as a cherry on top, as the bonus round, we're going to be reviewing a graphic novel, not a graphic novel, but the trade paperback collective edition of the awesome comic book series Chew. And so here's the books for you. Chew, Volume 1, Taster's Choice. Very interesting story, very good writing. And then here's Stephen King's Full Dark, No Stars. Hardcover. I was so happy when I found this. I found this at the Barnes & Noble in Pasadena, California. So lucky. It was in the bargain area because I guess they just overstocked and they didn't sell all of them. And it's like, what are you going to do? You can't keep all these books at the retail price. It's ridiculous. So I got a copy for like $6. I was so happy. Shaky Camera Guy strikes again. All right, so let's get right into it. Let's start with Full Dark No Stars because like I said, choose the bonus round. Full Dark No Stars is a compilation of short stories slash novellas. Some of them are novella length. That's why you hear me say that with a question mark. Um, the first the stories are made up of themes involving murder, rape, um, serial killing, which is different from murder. I sectionalize that for a very specific reason. And then also with kind of like destiny. Destiny is a really big one, which was one of the stories. But yeah, so like the first story, we have a guy who ends up murdering his wife for land, for farmland, to get the profits and kind of make a better life for his son. It gets really complicated. I won't get into the details of the story. I won't, overburden you with too many factoids about each story. The second story is about a woman who is raped after a book signing. That sucks, right? I mean, it just sucks. Rape is awful, but after a book signing, like, yay, that was good. Good job. Got that done. Let's go home. Damn it. As the greatest euphemism of all time, right? And then the third story is about a guy who actually kind of plays around with his own destiny. He's dying of cancer, and he ends up making a deal that terminates his cancer, but starts giving basically um, d- dishing out bad luck to somebody close to him, so that way he can live longer, and it's pretty crazy. And then the last story is about a woman who discovers that her husband is a serial killer. So those are the stories for you. Pretty cool, right? I was really the first story, the first two stories, should I say, are really long. They're about 100+ pages long each. So yeah, I was a little apprehensive because I'm just like, wow, these are gonna be like the two major stories, but strangely, the final two, because there are four stories, they leave a pretty big impact on you because I guess Stephen King, he had to. I'd imagine like when you're sitting there writing these stories and you're gonna put them in this compilation, like you have to really make those last two stories kick because they are gonna be the smaller of the four, and so but they still have to leave an impact. I mean, they're gonna be the stories to finish it off. Um, like I mentioned, the first two stories are more novella length. They are pretty long, but they're very good. So as far as length and pacing, Stephen King, it seems like he really knows what he's going for, or knew what he was going for. This book was written in 2009, I believe, and yeah, because you kind of have the really hearty, well establishing stories. The ones that he will take a lot of time to set up for, and kind of let the entire message seep in. That's really great. And then he has the final two, which are a little shorter. You kind of reaching that finish line, but you still get a lot of I don't want to say action, but well, I guess there's a lot of moving action, so we can go with that. Yeah, and and he does it in such a short amount of time, or page length. So it's really well paced. The stories themselves are top notch. I really enjoyed this compilation. I've read a few compilations that are similar to it, not by Stephen King but by other writers, and it is really cool because I remember I was reading the book sleeve and it's like Stephen King once again proves himself the master of the long story, and I was like, yeah, basically. I mean, it's so funny when you ever have those covered artists, or should I say the editors who do the blurb on these book sleeves, and they're just like, yeah, we gotta make this guy seem amazing or make her seem amazing, whoever the writer is. But in this case, yeah, they were pretty on point. It's very true. These stories are excellent. The characters are really well developed despite the page length that we have for each of their stories. Obviously the characters who are in the first two, the ones with the novella length stories, get more time to be developed, but then it serves a better purpose later because they have a more impact, like there's more impact to their lives, whereas Stephen King is able to manage developing his characters in the last two stories just as well, and but with a shorter page length. And um, it's amazing. It's like, it's, you almost don't feel the differential between the four stories. It's like they all had their fair due for the character development. You know exactly where these characters are coming from. You know their sentiments, their attitudes, their agendas, and it's amazing. It's very well done. Um, the stories, like I mentioned, are really great. I'm not gonna push the point of the stories that much because I mean, what else can you say? They're very great stories. Short of spoiling the stories and talking about how they're great, that I won't get into because it's a book. I'll let you find folks who will be the readers of this potentially. I'll let you discover that for yourselves. Um, but yeah, Full Dark No Stars by Stephen King. Once again, right here. I think right now it's being published in paperback. I think this copy is harder to find now, unless you, like me, go to Barnes and Noble and they happen to have surplus of it. I mean, maybe you're lucky. Hopefully, but yeah, go out there, go get it. It's really great. The next one, our bonus round, Chew, volume. Oh God, glare. Chew, Volume One, Taster's Choice by John Layman and Rob Giori. I was having trouble pronouncing it when I looked at the cover. I've actually had this book for almost, I want to say 2 years now. It was given to me as a present from one of my very dear friends, and I didn't finish reading it. I went about halfway, and then I stopped. And I was really intrigued with the story. It's very funny. It's very well written. But for some reason, I just never brought myself to finishing it. And this past weekend, I was just like, screw it. I'm going to finish this. I literally just sat down all yesterday and finished it. Um, so yeah, it was really cool. It's not that long. It's your typical trade paperback. If this gives you any perspective, it has, how many issues are in this book? Let's find out really quick for your viewing knowledge, because I know a lot of people care about issue length. And Son of a Gun, I don't think it tells me. On the top of my head, I'm pretty sure there were 5 issues in this trade. Also, yeah, am I gradually turning or like shifting to the left or right? Sorry about that. But yeah, Chew. It's really quick about the story. It's in this fictional present day where the FDA actually has been made into almost a policing agency for food circulation. And is it getting brighter outside? Is the side of my face getting more illuminated? Like, I swear there's not some sort of supernatural entity, otherworldly entity trying to come through my window. It's just the sun. Um, yeah, it's about the FDA being turned into this policing body because apparently there was a bird flu, an avian flu, that nearly decimated the populations years ago, and so now chicken is no longer a circulated product in the food market. They do not allow people to eat, sell, or buy chicken, and it's very funny and weird. And this is also, it's also partly a not fictional, but like kind of like science fiction worlds. The main character, Tony Chu, um, he is what they call a cybopath. I think it's pronounced cybopath. And whatever he eats, he can determine where that food's come from, things that have happened to that food, the processes that it's gone through, and he gets very creative with his power as because he becomes a agent of the FDA because they need him for his talent. Turns out that it doesn't only have to be food that he eats that he can determine its origins, and it gets very interesting that way. And that's what one of the creative ways the writer and the creative team have established this character, his abilities, and how he's going to affect the story. It's kind of like a conspiracy of like, they think the avian flu wasn't real. They think that there was some other catastrophe that struck the world, and they're using the avian flu as an excuse. So that's one of the backdrop sub-stories, subplots. I can't think of words today. I can never think of words. I need like a thesaurus on me whenever I'm doing these. Um, yeah, so there's conspiracy theories. There is a very charismatic side character whose name is Mason, who's very cool and collected. He's like this big chubby guy, but he knows like kung fu, and he has ninja sais and ninja stars, and he's pretty awesome. And he's also a psychopath. But yeah, so him, Tony, and Mason, like they're both psychopaths who are able to use their chewing telepathy to solve crimes and stuff like that, and it's very interesting. Um, I really enjoyed this trade. Unfortunately, like most comic books, because the comic book industry are a bunch of trolls, um, this book ends in a cliffhanger. Because it's sectionalized in issues, so it's 5 issues. The last issue obviously will end in a cliffhanger, and they expect that you would be buying the next issue, so you would find out what happens. But in this case, I'm reading it in book form, so I'm just like, you sons of bitches, I want to know what happens. So yeah, up until the cliffhanger, it's a really great ride. It's one of those stories that really gets you to want to read more. I clearly want to read more, so I will be getting the next issue soon, as soon as possible. But yeah, Tony, really great character in himself. He's an interesting protagonist. He's like the right balance behind weak, or the right balance between weak and strong and motivated and all those things. I really can't form sentences today. But yeah, Chew, Taster's Choice Volume One, very good comic book read. It's not a superhero story, obviously. It's like a detective, unorthodox science fiction story. Um, but yeah, go out there, go read this. I suggest very highly of these two reads that we've mentioned today for the reviews. Chew, Volume 1, Taster's Choice, and also Full Dark, No Stars by Stephen King. Definitely go read those. Hope this review has been enlightening for everybody. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be doing another sit downs later this week. And yeah, so I haven't figured out what we're going to be doing for that. Yeah, have an excellent week. Don't let the Monday get you down because Monday's tomorrow and Mondays are awful. Office Space comes to mind. I've had a case of the Mondays. So don't get a case of the Mondays, everybody. Peace and love.